I'm Kal Sutherland. Here at BayRadio International, we've been bringing you regular Spanish news updates and in-depth stories for almost 20 years. Now, in conjunction with our partners at VillaLux, myself and Romy, we'll be looking at the big stories involving owning and renting property in Spain. Whether you're thinking about moving to Spain, have just moved or lived here for longer, join us for our new regular programme, bringing you the very latest stories on moving to and living in Spain. What stories have you got for us today, Romy?
That's it. We got two different stories. First of all, what I saw, and I thought it was quite interesting to mention that here on the radio, is that right now at this moment, 1 in 3 of all the home sales are actually happening without a mortgage in Spain.
That's incredible. There's some very rich people around. And also Alicante province, I understand, has been doing quite well.
Exactly, yeah. Alicante province, they have a high number of new builds in 2023 that either started or have completed during that year. So that's something else we're going to talk about.
All right, we'll also give you an idea about what our partners VillaLux do and how they do it towards the end of the piece today. So about this 1 in 3 homes bought without a mortgage. Now, who is buying that? Which nationalities are those with the money to do that?
Yeah, I mean, so what we see in all of Spain, of course, it's different. You have different areas which attract different nationalities or types of people. But in general, of course, we have a lot of foreigners from Northern European countries, so the Dutch, Belgians, French, German, Swiss. I mean, yeah, those countries.
Northern Europeans, generally.
Exactly, Northern Europeans.
Where the money is.
Where the money is and the weather is bad. And then we got UK, of course, and we see also an increase in American and Canadian buyers at the moment. Again, of course, it depends on the area, so they tend to be more centered around the cities because they really like this European lifestyle where they can just, hop
like
on
the cafe
train.
culture.
Also, yeah, don't necessarily need a car and really can make use of this. The relatively good infrastructure Europe has.
That's interesting, isn't it? The North Americans would prefer to be in a city area, whereas you would think most, perhaps, Northern Europeans and Brits prefer to be along the coast, somewhere near the sea.
I know, yeah, and I really think it's because of that, because obviously, the US or Canada as well, they're such big countries, and, Europe, they see it as something small, and it's very connected. You can hop on a flight for 50 euros, and you're in Rome in in an hour, 1.5 hours, so they really want to be able to make use of that. So that's obviously why, the cities is are attractive.
I was talking to our new US correspondent, Rich Reynolds, about this, and his daughter is in New York, and we were discussing how she felt when they said they were going to move to Spain. They live, him and his wife, in Valencia. And he said, well, to be honest, where I was living before is about 5.5 hours away from New York, so we just jump on a plane. It's not much different. And we're kind of used to 2.5 hours maybe, but not double that.
I know, yeah, no, it's completely different, and it's really funny to see that as well, that, actually going from one side to the other side of the US is almost as far as going from the east of the US to Europe. So we're pretty well connected here. Yeah.
What's made this work for people then being able to buy a house without a mortgage? Eurozone interest rates making a bit of a difference to that, I think.
Yeah, of course. In 2022, until kind of half 2022, interest rates were low. I think at one point they were even negative. And of course, there was a lot of people buying properties. So even though the prices of properties were already increasing a bit, people could just get more for their money. That has changed. So right now, interest rates, as we all know, have gone up. But you got, of course, in Spain, there's a lot of places like on the coast or Javia, where we are right now. It's just very interesting for people to invest. And I think if you have that money...
There is actually a crazy figure, something like most coastal areas in Spain, where I think 1/3 of the properties are empty for most of the year, which is, wow, that's kind of concerning.
I know, yeah, and it's often when you, especially during winter time, when you drive through those towns, you really, it's different day and night. If you come there in summer, it's full of people, everybody is enjoying, and in winter, there's nobody. So that happens. And of course, again, that depends on the area and the region you're at. Sometimes, there's areas where there's actually more to do during winter time. But yeah, no, that's true. A lot of foreign investors you can see here.
So for those that do need a mortgage, what types of mortgages are available? And how easy is it for a foreigner, say, from the US and the UK or Northern Europe? Is it different for all three?
What you see these days is that you will mostly have to apply with a Spanish bank for a mortgage. So it's getting more and more hard to go to the bank in your home country and to apply for a mortgage for a property in a different country. Even European banks, if it's in another EU country, you still have that same problem. But then the banks here, they are quite open, and they're also able to look at income and savings you have in other countries. But you will, in most cases, you will have to go to a Spanish bank. If it's easy, I mean, it really depends on the financial situation. Most Northern Europeans, because obviously the incomes are, generally higher in those countries. So yeah, they will be looked at, in a good way. You will need, as a non-resident, a 30% down payment. So you can't just finance, 100% of your property, not even 95. Banks, just to have the security, the guarantee, they need 30% of the property paid up front. And in case of a resident, that's 20%. So you do need some savings.
It can be obviously quite a complicated process, not just buying in another country, but there's another language to think about. But as I understand it, companies like VillaLux, yourselves and others, do actually provide a pretty all-round service to help people go through all the barriers and the problems and the issues that may arise.
Yeah, and that's especially, like you're exactly saying it right. That's what we really try to do. We really try to help people and support them because everything is in a different language. I remember when I came here for the first time, like 6-7 years ago. Time goes fast. I mean, everything was new. You're in a different country. You have to try to figure your life out, and then you have to do everything in our language, and it can be very overwhelming. And because of our experience, I mean, we have partners. If you talk about banks, lawyers, I mean, anything, like we know who to contact and to basically get you in touch with. So that's something we try to do, and we really try to line our clients up with the things they need and the people they need, just to feel secure. Because I think a lot of time people come here and sometimes they're scared and they.
There were some horror stories in the past. Certainly, if you think about 10 to 20 years ago, there were all kinds of strange things going on. Not least with how people were being able to buy their properties, but even where some of those properties were located. And I think we should allay any fears that most of those problems have gone away now.
They have, and I mean, I think one story I once heard, which was to me, it was like incredible, was some people, they bought a property in Spain, I think a bit more inland, and I mean, they went back to, I think it was the Netherlands, came back to Spain after half a year, and the house was gone.
We have heard stories like that, or people have been waiting for ages because they've been told now they can't move into their property, there's no water, no electricity. But like I said, these are stories from the past.
These are from the past, yeah, and you can really see that over the last years, Spain really has made like kind of a switch, and right now when you go to the notary, for example, everything gets checked. I mean, you will have a lawyer on your side as well, that before you make any big payments, they will check everything, they will make sure everything is registered correctly, because that didn't always happen before, but right now you cannot buy a property anymore without everything being the way it should be. So
BayRadio International, it's our new segment where we're looking at buying, owning, selling, renting properties in Spain. So whether you're just thinking about it, whether you've just moved, or even if you've been here for quite a while, there'll probably be something in this for you over the coming weeks. Romy, our partner from VillaLux, is with us today. And the other story you've selected is about a province in eastern Spain, which has just had its biggest year for building homes since 2007. Where is that?
It's Alicante, the beautiful province we live. It's actually caught my attention, the article, because, obviously we know that this area is very much attracted by foreigners. I mean, they like to invest here. The market has been good, I think, over the last years at least. That's a new trend that actually right now they're building more and more properties, especially in the Marina Alta area where we are at right now. That's a good one. Alicante City as well, Marina Baja as well. So it's really, of course, the touristy area.
It's quite a large number, isn't it? 52%, some 8,783 properties.
I know, yeah, and I think the Marina Alta actually accounts for 26.5% of that whole sum. So it's quite some homes that are being built around here.
I remember when I first came here, it was pre-2008, and pretty much every skyline had a crane in it, and it does again.
Yeah,
does.
yeah. I mean, you drive around and you see it, and it's just because there's such a high demand in the end. I mean, people keep wanting to come here, and it just gets it gets more and more popular, these areas, the coastal areas in Spain. And I think what happened as well is after COVID, people just realized, we have to work from home, or we have the possibility to work from home. We have some money on the bank, and that also, we get back to the story.
And you don't get any money out of the banks these days for interest, so you're actually better off putting it into property anyway.
Exactly, yeah, it's more stable. And, that's why they decided to invest in a property here. And the good thing here as well is even if you're not able to be here all year round, or maybe not, for 1 year you can't even come, you can still rent it out. And it's just a really good investment if you have the opportunity, of course, and a chance to do it. Yeah.
And VillaLux offer a whole range of different services, not just from buying, but also selling, renting, and looking after properties if people are away for large parts of the year. Tell us a little bit more about what your daily sort of tasks are. I think quite a lot, really.
It's a lot, yeah, it's a lot. And that makes it very interesting as well, because it literally it goes from helping people, advising them about, how to rent out their property to, sometimes go to the notary. I mean, yeah, everything. It's really, and it's very people oriented, which is great. We get in touch with people from different nationalities, as I was saying before, and that's really what it makes just a very exciting job.
Didn't you say? I think I've heard you say that you are number one on Google in the Netherlands, which is where you're from, of course.
We are. Yes, I am. If you didn't hear it, yes, I am. We're ranked number one in Google in the Netherlands. So because of that, we get a lot of Dutch inquiries or Dutch clients that are actually looking in the area. Sometimes they're not 100% sure yet where they want to buy, because of course, the province is very big, and even the Marina Alta area, you got different towns. But yeah, there's a lot of interest, a lot of Dutch buyers at the moment. So we really, obviously, we specialize in that. And yeah, going back on that story about, of course, the new build homes, we also realize that there's more demand for people actually coming or they're more interested in building, and that's often also because there's not
perhaps exactly what they're looking for, or what's being built might not be perhaps what they're after, but if you've got the money, you can build your own, can't you? True.
And also what we see as a trend is that, almost everybody, and especially the Dutch at this moment who are buying, they invest in like more traditional Spanish property, let's say from the 80s, and they all reform it. Reforms, if they find the great location, the plot with the house, which is on a great location, because the location is the only thing you can't change.
That's interesting. I have actually seen some people completely flatten and build, but there's some very nice ones where they keep the old brick. And build from that, which is... And
that's it. I think that keeping that traditional Spanish feel of a house, like that's something people want these days. And I think that's really nice, because in the end we all moved to Spain because we like, the culture, the weather, of course, the lifestyle. And there are some types of homes, it really depends on your preferences. There are some types of homes that you could see in, for example, Netherlands as well. And I think these traditional houses, they really, embody what Spain is. So it's great that they do it that way. It is.
You can find out more about the properties VillaLux has available at www.villalux.com, or you can call Romy or Max on the office number
965-794059.
So stay on top of all the latest developments in living and owning a property in Spain. You can join us right here on BayRadio International a couple of times a month. You'll also find us on our BayRadio and VillaLux YouTube channels and our websites and social media. And if you have any questions at all about anything you've heard today or anything else on the subject, then you can contact us via our WhatsApp 684-455-844 or email studio@bayradio.fm, and we'll bring you the answers in future programmes, because Romy and Max, they know everything. Thank you very much.
Thank you.